So we are on Daf Tzadik Dalet Omid Aleph and 94A5 in English. Sanhedrin, the 11th parak, and it says, so we're talking about Sanhedrin, who is trying to come, he's the king of Assyria, and he's trying to come to fight against Jerusalem, and Hashem makes a miracle, and he kills all the 185,000 soldiers, right? The pasuk there says, "V'tachad kevodo yekad yekod kikod esh," and beneath his honor there shall be kindled a flame like the burning fire. I'm Rabbi Yochanan. Tachat kevodo, underneath his honor. What does this mean? That means that the bodies were burned, but not their clothes. Meaning Hashem killed the soldiers by burning their bodies, but a miracle happened that their clothes remained. Ben Yada and others explain that because if Hashem would have got rid of the clothes also, burned the clothes also, then people would say there was no miracle, right? The clothes is the proof of the miracle. Others would say it wasn't God, it was in the other says it would say it wasn't God, it was the Jews had some sort of fire that they attacked them with and they killed them with. The fact that the clothing remained but the body was burned, that was a huge miracle. Like for the mamash, not the actual clothing, because he would call his clothing the thing that honors him, right? So most times, if you don't know somebody and they walk in with a certain amount of clothing or a certain type of clothing, you give them the respect for the clothing that they are wearing. So clothing is a person's honor. The Yazar says, Tachiko means that only their neshama was burned. Kisrifat b'nei Aharon. Malahan srifat neshama b'guf kayam. Just like by Aharon's children, other of you, when they brought the fire that they shouldn't have brought, their neshama was burnt, but not their bodies. So too over here by the people, the soldiers of Sanhedrin, srifat neshama b'guf kayam. Avkan srifat neshama. The guf kayam, the neshama was burned, but the body remained. Now, Tana Mishmei Yeshua ben Korcha. There's a difference between Paro and Sanhedrin. Paro Shichiref be'atzmo Nifra Kosh Baruch Hu Imen be'atzmo. Paro, who said the words against Hashem himself, he got punished through Hashem himself. Sanhedrin Shechiref Ali Deshliach was Sanhedrin who cursed Hashem through an agent, right? He sent Rav Shaket to deliver the address, to deliver the words of Sanhedrin. He did it through a shliach. So Hashem punished Sanhedrin through a shliach. Paro dichtebe mi Hashem asher yishba b'kolo. And Paro said, "Who is Hashem? Shesh listen to him." Hashem took punishment from himself. Hashem turned Egypt in the midst of the sea. Hashem himself. You've trodden the sea with your horses. And again, it's Hashem doing it. God's personal role. Hashem. Through your messengers, you spoke not nicely against Hashem. V'yach v'machaneh Ashur 185 Aleph, and slew 185,000 of the camp of Assyria. Okay, so right? Is it better that Hashem is punishing you? Is it better that you get punished through a shliach? The Marsha and Rashi, how they look at that. But that's the story. Okay. Now we come to the next Gemara. It says when Sanhedrin through Rav Shalke was boasting and mocking the Jewish people, one place in Yeshaya it says Merom Kitzo. They said they'll come to the most remote height, and in one place it says Melon Kitzo. The Malone is usually like a hotel, like a place that they live. So one says Merom Kitzo, and one says Melom Kitzo. Why does it say two different versions? Amar with Rasha, so Sanhedrin was saying as follows: First, I will destroy the Beit HaMikdash here on earth. Then I will destroy the Beit Hamikdash of Shemayim. Okay, the Farshim say obviously he's boasting, but he can't really do that. How can he destroy the Beit Hamikdash in Shemayim? That's not for a human to destroy. So the Farshim want to say that Sanhedrin knew that it's the Jewish people's actions that can destroy the Beit Hamikdash in Shemayim, right? And so he had a plan to get them to sin, and this way he would destroy the Beit Hamikdash that's in Shemayim. Amri Yeshua ben Levi, Yeshua ben Levi said, "My dichtiv." What does it say? Atai baladei Hashem aliti el makom hazeh lahashchito. Where Sanhedrin is talking, and Sanhedrin tells the Jews that he besieged, that he sent to destroy Jerusalem, that I couldn't have done this unless Hashem let me. Hashem Amar Eli. Hashem said to me, Hashem said to me, go and destroy this land. Meaning, he's saying it's God's will for me to come and besiege and destroy Eretz Yisrael. What is this? The Shama Lanavi the Kama. Remember, Rav Shakeh was a Jew that became a Mumar, and he heard the Nebuah. And he went and he told the Nebuah to not care. What did he hear? Ya'an ki ma'as ha'am hazeh et mei ha'shiloach ha'olchim li'at u'misos et ritzin uven Remaliyahu. The people rejected the waters of Shiloach that flow gently, and instead they wanted Ritzin and Ben Remaliyahu. So Amar Rabbi Yosef, ilmale targuma deha'ikara lo hava yadana ma'ika amar. If it wasn't for the Targum, we would not know what this pasuk is talking about. Now, Dafka Rabbi Yosef is all over Shas bringing Targum, and there are those who want to say, since Rabbi Yosef was blind, you're not allowed to learn the Torah Shebichtav Bal Peh, the psukim of the Torah, the verses of the Torah, you're not allowed to learn them by heart. Since he was a blind, he learned Targum instead, and so he said, here's a Targum on this pasuk. What's the Targum? Cholaf dekat ama hadim b'malchuta. Debet David medaber lahom b'niach k'mei shilochad denegdim b'niach. The Jewish people have rejected the house of David that talks to them calmly, that deals with them calmly. Ve'itre'u v'ritzin orvar Remaliah. And instead, they want the kingship of Ritzin and Remaliah. Who is Ritzin? Pekach ben Remaliyahu. He is the king of the Israelites, the northern tribes, right? The 10. And Ritzin was the king of the Arameans. So they are saying, we don't want the nice kingship, the calm kingship of Chizkiah and Beit David. We want the chaotic and the theatrical and the exciting kingship of the son of Remaliah and Ritzin. We don't want a nice calm government. So because of that, Hashem sent, you don't want David Melech, you don't want the Beit David. Okay, well, we'll send Sanhedrin. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, my dichtiv, Meirat Hashem bevet rasha unvet tzadikim yivarach. The curse of Hashem is in the house of the wicked, but God blesses the dwelling of the righteous. What does this mean? Meirat Hashem bevet rasha ze pekach Remaliyahu. This was the northern kingdom, pekach Remaliyahu. What about him? He would eat 40 some young birds for dessert. He was so hungry after a full meal, he still needed to eat 40 saw of young birds. But the dwelling places of the righteous, they don't have a house. The Rishaim, they have a house. They're very in this temporary world. They're building structures. The tzaddik, he lives here also, but he realized himself as being a dweller. And what was about him? All he used to eat was a litra, about a log or about 6 eggs, and he ate that for his whole seudah. So compared to Pekach or Remaliyahu, he ate literally nothing. In fact, some of us say that's why some of the Jews didn't want Chizkiah, because he was setting the standard that a little food is enough, and they wanted to they wanted to enjoy their food more, and they wanted more gashmiut in their lives, and they rather have a king who was more involved in those things, and that was a big mistake. Now, the pasuk says, the pasuk that Sanhedrin and Rafshaka used as the pretense to go to war because they thought Hashem would allow them. Pasuk says, "V'lechein hina Adonai maleh alehem et mehanahar atzumim v'harabim et melech Ashur." Will bring the mighty and massive waters of the river of the king of Assyria. And then it says, "V'chalav b'Yehuda," the river shall sweep through Yehuda, shataf v'avar, right? Ad savar yagia, overflowing as it passes through, up to the neck will it reach. Okay, so up to the neck, but not including the neck. And that was the mistake. So Cher thought that he can get including the neck, which is Jerusalem, the highest part, right? But it said ad savar yagia, up until Jerusalem. You cannot take Jerusalem himself. Elamai tama ianish. So if that's the case, Sanhedrin could take punishment. Why not? Why is he getting trouble afterwards? Why 185,000 soldiers being killed? Truth is, this pasuk is about the 10 tribes. Sanhedrin thought he could take all Yerushalayim, but it says Vi'ad, right? There's no weariness for one who oppresses her. And nimsar ayef b'Torah b'yad mihem etzik lo. He says there's a pasuk that says that pasuk really talking about how the Sancheriev's army is not tired and they can destroy Jerusalem, but the Mechaber understand this as being that since there are Jews who learn Torah until they are so tired, that is their protection against Sancheir. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, so coming back, it says another pasuk that brings the same idea about learning Torah, which is a protection for Klal Yisrael. It says, in I believe this is Yeshaya as well. Okay, it says, "But ka'et harishon hekal artzat zebulin v'artzat naftali v'achron hichbid derech hayam ever hayaden gilil hagoyim." Okay, literally it means the first time he dealt mildly, exile only in Zebulun in the land of Naphtali. The last time he dealt harshly, exile those who live by the sea, in the Transjordan and in the attraction of the nations. But the Gemara is going to come and learn this pasuk a little bit differently. Jerusalem will not fall like those who fell beforehand, the northern tribes, who lightened the load of Torah. They didn't learn Torah. They said Torah, not for us. But Jerusalem, the later ones who Sancheriv is coming to attack later, who increased their learning of Torah, it's proper for Hashem to make them a miracle. Like those who crossed over the Yam Suf and those who crossed the Transjordan coming into Israel. If Sancheriv changes his mind, everything will be fine. And if he doesn't, I'll make him a mockery among the nations. Again, the Gemara is stressing the Torah is the biggest protection for Klal Yisrael. It says further, it says further in Nach, Acharei hadivarim ha'ela, this is Divrei Yomim, Acharei hadivarim ha'emet ha'ela, Vayichan, basar cher bel chashur, Yavo Yehuda, Vayichan al ha'arim ha'betzurot, Vayomer levikam elav. So he says, after these matters and this truth, Sanhedrin, king of Sanhedrin, came, invaded Judah, and set up a camp against the fortified city, planned to breach them so that he might take them. What is going on here? Paradashna. Is this the reward for Chizkiyahu's great service to Hashem? Why is Hashem allowing Assyrians to come and fight against Jerusalem? Hashamar lo hu be'ina v'lo b'tote be'ina. Miyad kafet Baruch Hu v'nishba untimatnele shneimar nishba since the Golimor im lo kasher temiti kinayatam she'atzni takum nishmo asho baratzi b'alharei abuseinu v'sarem alehem olo v'stulo min al shechmo yasur. Okay, so basically, it means that Hashem said, if I'm going to tell Chizkiyahu my plan to break the Assyrian kingdom by bringing them to Jerusalem, and then they're all dying there, Chizkiyahu would say, I don't need it, I don't want it, don't bring them, don't destroy them, don't give us this problem. But Hashem said, I'm not going to tell Chizkiyahu, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to bring them, and I'm going to break them over there. And that's the Achrei Hadavarim B'Ha'emet Ha'eleh, that Hashem had to make this shmuah that he wasn't going to tell Chizkiyahu what was going to happen. Rather, it means that the invasion occurred because Hashem took an oath to destroy Sanhedrin and Judah, and to thereby end the Syrian domination of the Jews. Okay? Let's Sanhedrin and his army come, and they will become a trough, a place for animals to eat for Chizkiyahu and his followers. Right? They'll have so much left over from all the soldiers that died that everyone can take the money, the animals will have food, and everyone will be good. It'll be good for the Jewish people. And it shall come to pass that day that his burden shall be removed from your shoulder. And his yoke from your neck. And the yoke should be destroyed because of the shaman. What does this mean, the shaman? The reason the yoke of Sanhedrin was broken is because of the oil of Chizkiyahu. He put oil in the Beit Knesset and Beit Midrashot. He put lights there all the time. People can learn Torah. What did he do? Anyone who doesn't learn Torah, the sword, and he brought the sword on top of the Beit Midrash and the shul, is if you don't learn Torah, you're going to get this sword. So the Mefarshim ask, why are you putting it in the Beit Midrash? If people already came to the Beit Midrash, they came to learn. Go put it in the bazaar, go put it in the shuk, go put it in the marketplace. Why are you putting it in the shul and in the Beit Midrash? So some want to say, because Aruch Ner, they want to say that sometimes there's some people who are just not going to make it, right? Just like in Mitzrayim, 4/5 of the Jews didn't come out. Those who were in the marketplace, they're never going to make it back. So we focus on what we could. Others want to say, no, if they focus in the Beit Midrash, that ends up influencing the society around them. So therefore, he said, let me focus on the Beit Midrash, and that will now focus everywhere else. But Kumidan be'arba Sheva, they went from Dan to Beersheba. They couldn't find even one Amaretz. Wow, that's amazing. Migvat va'ad Antiparas, they went from Givat to Antiparas. They didn't find a little boy or a little girl. Ish va'isha, or a man or a woman. That they were not experts in the Hilchot Tumah v'Tahara, in purity and non-purity, which is a very, very complex halachot, and everybody knew, including the women. So here a lot of Pashim saying, here's proof that women have to learn Torah, right? Some people say, oh no, women don't have a mitzvah of Torah learning, right? But the truth is, we say they do. In fact, they say the bracha Asher Kisham Tzivanu Al Divrei Torah in the morning, just like men do. And that means they were commanded to learn Torah. So which Torah? So the Mepharshim say here, the no Hilchot Tumah v'Tahara. Why the no Hilchot Tumah v'Tahara? because it's applicable to them. Tumah Tahara is applicable to women as well. So any Torah that's applicable to the woman, they have a chiyuv to learn that Torah. So that, for example, Hilchot Kashrut, Hilchot Shabbat, right? Everything that's applicable to them, they would need to learn. So there's plenty and plenty for them to learn. But on this generation, it's saying that people had little animals, one cow, two sheep. They spend the rest of the time learning Torah. Even though people had a lot of vines and a lot of money, they didn't take care of their property because they neglected it because they were learning Torah instead. That's how successful Chizkiyahu was in his promotion of Torah study throughout the kingdom of Judah. It says further in the pasuk in Yeshaya, "Ve'usav shalachem osef kehasil," the booty that was left over from the soldiers that died from Assyria, they shall be gathered like the gathering of grasshoppers. Some of them Navi Yisrael. What happened here? The Navi said to the Jewish people, "Ishfu shalachem, go collect this treasure." They said to him, "Do we take whatever we get, or we divide it?" Right? What's the halacha about this? He said to them, "Osev hechasil, go like grasshoppers. Ma osev hechasil ko echa ve'echa le'atzmo, just like a locust company takes each one for themselves. Al shalchem ko echa ve'echa le'atzmo." But isn't the 10 tribes, other Jews, their money is there, right? And maybe it's Jewish money, and maybe it's stealing because I'm taking Jewish money that they never gave up. It was taken away from them forcefully. Maybe it still belongs to them. So Amrlahem Kimase Givim Shokek Bo. Like the roar of a water rushing into pools does he roar therein. Ma give him halumalin etadamitumal tara. Just like when you have a mikvah, it takes a person from Tumah Tahara. Once Goyim take the Jewish people's money, it's no longer viewed as the money of the original owner, and therefore you can take it in battle. It's a legitimate spoil of war. It doesn't belong to those Jews. Shem says you cannot fight Ammon and Moab, but then Sichon and Og came and took over those lands, and then we killed them, Sichon and Og, and we took over those lands, even though we're not allowed to originally take those lands, but they were mitahered through Sichon and Og's conquering of Ammon and Moab. Amar Yehuna, Esther Masot Nasa Oto Rasha Oto Hayom. Sanhedrin did 10 travels on that day that he tried to attack Jerusalem. Shene'emar, as it says, Ba'al Ait, he came to Ait. Avar beMigron, he passed through Migron. Le Michmash Shefkid Kelab, he placed his tool in Michmash. Avru Ma'abara, they have crossed Marba. Geva Malon Lanu, they have lodged at Geva. Haradar Haramah, the Ramah has quaked. Givat Shaul Nasa, Givat Shaul has fled. Tzadikol Ech Bat Galim, Hakshiva Le'asha, cry out Bat Galim, Harkin Olaish, Ani Aniot, or you pour Aniot, Anatot. Nadra Madmena, Adonai has wandered away. The inhabitants of Givim have gathered together. So if you go through it, there are more than 10 marches. There's actually 12. Hani Tuva Havayan. There are more than 10. The Gemara says, okay, take away 2. When it says cry bat galim, that was saying Tale kolech bat galim. Galim. The daughters of Galim, which are waves, they should pray. What's the daughter of waves? The children of Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov. When they made mitzvot, they made like waves of the sea. The mitzvot was so powerful. So daven that Yishachir shouldn't be able to attack. When it says Akshiva Layasham, right? Layasham, hearken to the Layesh, Milo Tistife. What we're saying was, don't be scared that this one's Sanhedrin. Rather, you should be scared of Nebuchadnezzar, who is compared to a lion. Right? A lion has arisen from his thicket. Meaning, Sanhedrin, it's a passing thing. It's temporary. He's not going to conquer Jerusalem. But Nebuchadnezzar will. That's what the Navi was saying. The Gemara says, what about this words, Ma Aniya Anatot? What does it mean, oh, you poor Anatot? There will come a time Yirmiyah Mechilkiah, who is from Anatot, will give a prophecy about the destruction of the temple. The Yirmiyah, the Yirmiyah ben Chilkiah ben Kohanim Asher ba'Anatot, be'Eretz Binyamin. 1 second. So if you had 12 places, and now you said Bat Galim is not a place, then you said Laisha is not a place, and now you're saying Anatot is about Yirmiyah and it's not a place. So you're down to 9. Okay, but before we go there, the Gemara says, "Mi dami hatam are hachal la'ish." There, your pasuk says that Nebuchadnezzar is an ari, is a lion. Here it says la'ish. Is that the same thing? Rabbi Yochanan. Truth is, there are 6 names for the different stages of a lion. Yesh la'ari, sheshi shemot, yesh la'ari. There's 6 names for the lion. Elu hain, and these are them: Ari, Kefir. So Kefir is another name of a lion. Lavi is another term for a lion. Laish is another term for a lion. Shahal is another term for a lion. And Shahatz are all different terms for a lion. There, a lot of say that they define different stages of the lion's development. Kefir is usually meaning a lion cub, usually a baby lion. Okay. Ihachi Batsuhu, if that's the case, you only have 9 places. Oh, no. Avru Ma'abara Tarteininhu. It doesn't mean passing through Ma'abara, but Avru is 1 place, and Ma'abara is another place, and now you have 10. My Odayom Benov Lamod. What does it mean 1 more day for a Nov to stand? This was the last day that the punishment for what happened at Nov could have taken place towards the Jewish people. So what happened at Nov? Nov was an Ir Shel Kohanim. It was a city of Kohanim. Now, at some point, David Melech's father-in-law got a little bit Shaul Melech, right? So David is not the king yet. Shaul is king. And he got a little jealous of David, and Ruach Shtut came into him, whatever the story is, right? This is the way Hashem made it happen. And Shaul kind of is trying to attack and after David. So David runs away. He needs some food, he needs some supplies. So he goes to Nob, is the Ir Kohanim. There is the head Kohen there, Achimelech. And David talks to him, and he gets supplies, he gets food, everything's okay. But meanwhile, one of Shaul's advisors, Doeg, is there. He sees this. He goes back to Shaul. He tells him what happens. He tells them that Nob, Ir Kohanim, is conspiring with David. They're in it together. So he says, he says to Doeg, go and kill them all out. So Doeg goes and takes soldiers and he kills them all out. So we're going to see the Gemara says that it wasn't just Doeg's fault, and it wasn't just Shaul's fault, but David Melech and all Klal Yisrael, so to speak, is being blamed for what happened in Nob. So Sanhedrin, he had up until that day to kill the Jewish people for that sin of the destruction of the Kohanim in Nov Ira Kohanim. So that's what it means. Od Hayom Benov. There was another day for the punishment to happen. That was the last day. Amrle Kilda'e. So his astrologers told Sancherib, if you go now and you attack Jerusalem today, you'll be successful. If you don't attack him today, you won't be successful. So what happened? So he went. Usually it would take 10 days. He did it in 1day. I said, I have only today to do it. So he was able to do it. Now, sometimes people have a project. They got to take 2 weeks to do it. They procrastinate, and it's the last day, and all of a sudden they get it done. Right? So, Kim went to Yerushalayim. When he came to Yerushalayim, he said, let me see this Jerusalem, what I made all this big march for. So they took for him rugs, and he's able to climb on top of it. And he sees all of Jerusalem. He sees it, and he's very not impressed. Jerusalem looks very small, very weak, which is true. It wasn't a very big place. Amar ha he is this truly the city of Jerusalem? I mobilized all my forces, and for which I conquered all the other countries to get here. I conquered everything to get here. Hello, he's it's smaller and weaker. Than all the other foreign cities that I've conquered with my might. He shook his head. And he waved his hand in the Temple Mount, the courtyard of Temple Jerusalem. He said, nothing is significant here. Amru, the soldier said, Nishte beyada ha'idna. Let's attack the city right now. He said to them, Sanhedrin said to him too, listen, we traveled 10 days worth of travel in one day. You're all tired. You're all tired, so let's take it easy. Tomorrow, each one of you will take one piece of the city's wall, and the whole thing will be destroyed. We have nothing to worry about. This is an easy pickings. There's no resistance here in Jerusalem. Miyad, right away it says, Vahi, Valayla Hahu, Vayitze Malach Hashem, V'machna Asher Ashur, Mea Shmonim V'chamishim Elef, 185,000, V'yashkimu Baboker, V'ineh Chulam, Pegarim Mitim. All of them were dead corpses. There was nothing left. All 185,000 soldiers were completely destroyed. Papa, Bat Dina, Batal Dina. If you delay justice, you have canceled justice, right? Right. Since Sanhedrin didn't attack him that day, which was for our benefit, fortunately that happened. But in general, Rav Pama see a lesson from here is that if you don't do something right away, you're going to lose out. There's sometimes a potential. You feel the hirhur, you feel the passion, the feeling to get it done. And if you're going to skip it and not do it, you're going to lose out big time. Okay, so sometimes you have to do something right away. Now, says further the Gemara, V'yishbi b'nov asher b'lidei harafa. There was a man known Yishbi of Nov. He really wasn't named Nov, but he was called Yishbi of Nov for a reason we're going to see now. And he was the daughter of Orpah, the son of Orpah. The weight of his spearhead was 300 shekels of brass. Right? And he had new armor. He wanted to kill David. What is my Yishbi Beno? What does it mean Yishbi Beno? He's not from No. Ish Shabbat al Iskei. No. He's a man who came to punish David because of what David caused at No. Hashem said to David, and Matai avon zeh tamun beyadecha. How long will this Avirah be hidden in your hand? Through you, the city of Nov Erekanim was killed. And because of you, Doeg does not go into Olam Haba. Because of you, Shaul and his 3 kids were killed. It's all your fault, David, right? What do you want to be for you, Kapara? We can kill your children, or you can fall into the hand of the enemy. Amar Lafanav, the Melech said, Yivon Shalom, Mutav Imtsar Bayad Oyev Velo Yechle Zari. Of course, let my children live. Put me into trouble. Let me fall into my enemy's hands. Okay? Yom Ahad, one day, you can see it's a Friday. Yom Ahad Nafak Nishbor Bazai. He goes out hunting. The Melech goes out hunting. Atas Atam B'Demele B'Tavya. A Satan appeared, it looked like a deer. David shot an arrow and missed the deer. The Mashma. David continued to follow it. Until David Melech ended up in the Philistine territory. Then Yishbi from Nov, or Yishbi because he's coming to punish David for what happened in Nov. He said, this is the guy who killed Goliath. This is the guy who killed Goliath. That's my brother Goliath. And this David is the one who killed him. So right away, he jumped up, grabbed him, tied him up. He put him under an olive press, and he sat on the olive press. And a miracle happened to David. A miracle happened, and the earth underneath David became very soft. So David Melech did not get crushed when the olive press came down, squishing him when Yishbi sat on it. So David Melech is still alive. Now, what happens here? Now, the day that David was captured was Friday, towards evening, getting closer to Shabbat. And Avishai ben Turiah one of David Melech's generals and also relative, he was shampooing his head with 4 measures of water, and he noticed blood stains in the water. Right? What's going on? Why is there blood here? Some say he saw a Yonah, a bird that represents Klal Yisrael, jumping around, thrashing around. Amr, he said, Leona, the Jewish people are compared to a dove. Shneimar, and David, who's representing the Jewish people, he is in trouble. So right away he got up. He went to David Melech's palace. He doesn't find David Melech there. So he doesn't know what to do. He's David in trouble, where to go, what to do. So Amar, he wants to take now David Melech's mule. And he had a question. Tanan, because you're not allowed to drive on the king's horse. And Yoshua Kisa, you can't sit in his chair. You can't use a scepter. So what about if it's in a state of danger, or you're not sure it's danger? He went to the Midrash. They said to him, when it's a Shana Sakana, it's fine. You can use his mule. Now, Daphne wanted to use his mule, says the Ben Yehoyada, because the mule that David Melech rode on, to the Ben Yehoyada, through whatever ways he would know, the mule would be able to find its owner, and he would be able to take him to David. So, Rachvein the Ferjeh come Adal, comes to the Ara, showed me a miracle, and there was a pizza derech. He reached the land of the Philistines right away. Okay. 1 second. Give me 1 second. So he was writing very quickly. Well, how did it come, Aske? As Avishai was writing, he saw Orpa, the mother of Yishbi, the Havat Navlam, and she was spinning thread. She had the needle that you spin thread with. As soon as she saw Avishai, she broke the thread off her spindle. And she threw the spindle on him like a dart. Here's a female terrorist. She's spindling thing, and then she's throwing it at him, trying to kill him, as if she misplaced her dart. She wanted to kill him. Amrlay. Then she saw she missed. She said to Avishai, "Alam, young man, ateli pelech, give me back my spindle." He says, "Sure, no problem." He threw it straight at her head and killed her in the process. Now, and Yishbi saw Avishai coming. So Yishbi said, "Oh, 2 guys are coming against me. They'll kill me. So I gotta get rid of David now." He threw David into the air. He put his spear into the ground. He said, "Let David fall into the spear and be killed." He wanted everyone to see. That's why he threw it into the air. Avishai said the name of Hashem. And he made this Kabbalistic name, and he stopped David Melech from falling in the middle of the air. Why couldn't David, let David Melech say it himself? Someone who's stuck in jail needs outside help. He cannot do it himself, so he needed Avishai to say it. So Avishai said to David, "What are you doing here? How did you end up here? How did it all happen?" Hashem said, "Either me or my children." So I said, "Let me." So Avishai said to him, "No, change it around. You take care of yourself. Don't let yourself get in trouble, and let your children, your children get the trouble afterward." Okay, so Amalei, he said, "If so, help me escape." So that's what it says. Avishai helped David. The David Melech and Avishai prayed together. Amar Avishai Shem ve'echtei. So Avishai said another name of Hashem, and he brought David Melech safely back to the ground, out of the reach of Yishbi. So they both started to run away. When David Melech and Avishai started running away, they reached the town of Kubay. They said, what did they say? Tumbe, let us take a stand against them. But then, when they came to a place called Beit Terei, they say, can we kill him only two? And he's a big lion. Amalei, they said to Yishibino, they screamed back to him, go find your mother in her grave. And he didn't know his mother was killed by Abishai. When he heard that his mother was killed, he fainted, he failed. And when he emotionally stopped, they were able to kill him. That's what it says further on in Nach. No longer you're going out to war, no longer you're going out by yourself. We are you have to stay behind, we have to protect you. We need the light of Israel to remain. Okay, so this is where we will get up to this week. Next week we will continue. Shavua Tov.